This is Max Martin. Some would have you believe he's a miracle worker.
How do you create? Creating is a miracle, and he's one of the best creators I've ever met.
He's written 22 #1 singles, including Baby One More Time, Oops, I Did It Again, Shake It Off, Can't Feel My Face, California Girls, and Teenage Dream, to mention a few, all by creating obedient celebrities.
Go sing this, go sing this, go sing this. Okay.
He's spread his web of control through a religion he created, all whilst remaining hidden in plain sight.
But he definitely has great energy. He's a good person, a kind person.
But now, having uncovered a slew of new information, we get to find out the truth about Max Martin. This is the story of the Church of the Holy Ghostwriter.
You did it. You did it. You did it. You blew my cover.
Part 1. A Brief History.
Okay. So I guess we'll have to do the interview by ourselves. My name is Dennis Pop. This here is Max Martin, and we're one of the producer crews behind Ace of Base on the new album. We've done 4 new songs, and maybe I should start telling you about how I first started working with Ace of Base.
That's a good one.
That's a nice one.
That's a nice one.
I got a cassette sent to my house saying, please listen to our demos and call us, Ace of Base. I took this cassette and I put it in my car stereo and it got stuck. So I kept hearing it over and over. That where I'm...
Located in Sweden, Chorion Studios was founded in the early 90s as a pop production company, producing many of the decade's greatest hits, including the Backstreet Boys, Boyzone, NSYNC, Britney Spears, and Westlife. Not only has the studio created some of the most prolific artists of the past decade, it has also created one of the most prolific and successful producers, Max Martin. Max would later go on to write and produce the 3rd most #1 hits globally, coming after Paul McCartney and John Lennon. All of this success handed down to him thanks to Chorion Studios and the foundation of a secret society, so skillfully hidden in plain sight, you've never heard of Max Martin and his church, yet you've undoubtedly hummed his tunes and felt the effects of his beliefs. Like most cults, the initial intentions of the church were good. Shortly after opening, Dennis wanted to increase the efficacy of the studio's music. He believed that the key to a punchier pop sound was greater spiritual understanding. He thought that imbuing the music with more meaning would not only make it more enjoyable, but also help the culture at large. This was the first incarnation of what we now know as the Church of the Holy Ghostwriter. This simplistic approach to the faith was seen in his work for the aforementioned Ace of Base. Here in the chorus to The Sign. Despite the more simplistic approach, note that in the early stages there was still the use of symbolism. The Egyptian hieroglyph for Ankh representing the essential life force that runs through the world and all living things. This belief in the power of symbols is a cornerstone belief that has subsisted to this day. In particular, it can be seen in more recent works like Katy Perry's Dark Horse. But this more innocuous version of the religion was about to change, after Dennis Pop's untimely death in 1998, when Max Martin took over as leader. Part 2. After Dennis Pop.
Vad saknar du mest från tiden med pappa?
Shit, det här blir jobbigt ju. Jag saknar
Alltså grejen är att han var en sån här person som när han gick in i ett rum så han utstrålade att allting skulle bli okej.
However, after Dennis's passing, Max began to style himself after Jesus Christ and became more and more reclusive. He began to try to spread the word of the religion through songs like Faith by Celine Dion.
And it's called faith. Right beside you is where I'll stay. Oh, faith. Just take me as I am. So please have faith.
Around this time, the church begins to properly formalise its practices. It begins to hold its first ceremonies. One of the central artefacts to the ceremonies becomes the cherry light, also known as the hit flasher from Dennis's studio, described here by one of the church's ex-followers.
Här var det ju mixerbord. Så stod det Cheiron på väggen och så lät det fruktansvärt högt här inne. Cigg och kaffe luktade det här inne. De hade en lampa, kommer jag ihåg. Hitlampa.
En hitlampa, den satt väl där eller där, tror jag.
Man tryckte på den om man trodde det var en hit.
En sån här saftblandare.
Ja. Just det.
Så den snurrade för evigt, eller för jämnan.
Just det.
Most of these ceremonies were held in secret. One of the few public ceremonies was recorded in Stockholm, the birthplace of Cheiron. This was Max's inaugural moment as head of a church that he had formed himself only 10 years earlier. After a speech from 3/5 of the Backstreet Boys and a lengthy standing ovation, he makes one of his first public utterances in years.
Well, you did it. You blew my cover.
Why would he need cover if he had nothing to hide? It turns out over the past decade, Max had grown increasingly megalomaniacal. Around this time, the vocabulary of symbols used by the church begins to change. The importance of the centaur now becomes key, as Cheiron Studios was named after ancient Greece's wisest centaur. You begin to see the use of the centaur or the horse throughout Max's output, here with Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Pink, and Katy Perry. Note also the recurrence of the Egyptian Ankh symbol. Max also began to use the quote-unquote mythic power of the centaur to his own devices, found in Cheiron Petroleum Corporation, and using the centaur as the emblem. Cheiron Petroleum Corporation works to buy and sell oil fields throughout the Middle East. The profits, in turn, are used to spread the church's music and advocate for its beliefs. However, no one has ever successfully proved this connection, so I decided to do it myself. Initially attempting email correspondence but being rebuffed, I decided to phone their headquarters in Egypt. Part 3. Investigative Journalism. Despite phoning the number on the website every day for a week, they never got back to me. It seems they had something to hide. I tried phoning another number listed online as Pico Cheiron Group. The Cheiron Group, Pico Cheiron Group.
No, sorry, but you have wrong number. This is Business News America.
Okay. Do you know anything about the Church of the Holy Ghost Rider?
No.
Again, no dice. But then I had a breakthrough. While scanning LinkedIn for email addresses for the Cheiron Group, I came across another shell company, Cheiron Pharma Group, located in Hamburg. As a last-ditch attempt, I phoned them.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello, is this Cheiron Pharma
Yeah.
Corporation? My name is Dylan. I'm an investigative journalist. Now they knew I was onto them. I hit them with the big question. Do you know of any connection between Cheiron Pharma and Max Martin, the leader of the Church of the Holy Ghost Writer?
Which company, Mark? I've never heard of that.
Max Martin?
No.
No.
I don't know. No.
Church of... No relation. It seemed like another dead end, but then something strange happened.
Okay, well, did you get this information? Why are you asking?
Oh, I'm making a documentary.
Yeah, but this is not business for real. reason, I think. Why are you asking? I'm just wondering.
They were definitely onto me, so I hung up. This phone call left me only with more questions. What could they possibly be trying so hard to hide? And why was a Swedish pop songwriter running a church, an oil company, and moving pharmaceutical products? I guess we'd never know.